Today we're comparing a Nissan electric vehicle, this is all new Ariya, to the recently redesigned the past couple of years, the Lexus NX. These are both, you could say mid-size crossovers, compact crossovers. They're roughly the same size. And you would think luxury versus mainstream. Why are they in the same conversation? Well, the NX, as it's equipped here in this F-Sport package, and optioned out around $55,000. This Ariya with these unnecessary 19-inch optional wheels comes in around $59,000. So they're roughly in the same ballpark in terms of price, but are they the same quality of vehicle? Which one do I prefer driving? That's what we're going to discuss today. Let's get the old Sienna out of the way first. Let's start with the looks. Both of them are very cool, handsome vehicles. I really like the looks of the NX overall. And I think it is an improvement over the last generation. Is it a better looking vehicle than the Ariya? Well, the paint colors, no, like this is a 10 out of 10 paint color. I am not a big fan of this, but you could also change this out for a different paint color here on the Ariya, so I don't want to fault it too much for that. And Lexus has some of the best paint colors, especially in their sporty models out there on the market. So the Lexus is far more aggressive. If you like more of that sporty design, the Ariya is a little bit more svelte, it's more aerodynamic, it's a little softer overall. Getting into the cargo area of the Lexus NX, it has been improved just slightly over the first generation NX. We do have tons of underfloor cargo space here, removable tonneau cover there, you can fold the seats down. Opening up the liftgate of the Ariya, this is the Empower Plus trim. This is actually a front wheel drive model. I'll talk more about the powertrains in a little bit. But yes, you have removable storage here, or should I say removable floor storage here, which is quite handy because there's a lack of interior storage around the passengers. Tonneau cover isn't quite as nice as the Lexus quality, but it's good to have it. Another difference when it comes to luxury here are the shocks that prop up the hood. The Nissan has, well, a Nissan prop stick. Now this is actually making some noise right now because I have the AC going, but if you have the AC off, this would be a completely silent vehicle from the outside. The NX has a much louder engine compartment, obviously with the 2.4 liter turbo. 275 horsepower over here, and we have about 240 horsepower over here. From a stop, the NX feels maybe just a hair faster, especially if you're torque braking it, but at all other speeds, this is far smoother, far more responsive. You don't have a transmission like an 8-speed over here to row through the gears. I'm only getting about 22 miles per gallon in the city here, and with the efficiency I'm seeing here is around 3.5 miles per kilowatt hour. And with that sort of efficiency, you're able to get about 300 miles of range here. Not the fastest charging though. This will refill in about 5 minutes with gasoline at a pump. This is going to take you a lot longer with a 130 kilowatt DC fast charger. Luckily I can plug this in at home. This guy you have to go out of your way and plug in at the gas station. Closing the hoods on both of them here, I want to talk about the illumination real quick. We actually have triple beam headlights on both of these models. I'd say the Lexuses look a little bit higher quality overall. Daytime running lights on the Lexus look a little bit nicer, but these boomerangs over here also turn into your blinkers, which is quite cool. But I'm actually digging the front end of the Ariya, especially with this illuminated logo here. I think it looks great. So let's get into the back seat of the Ariya real quick and then compare it to the NX. Lots of legroom here. I like the backs of the seats with the synthetic material. Heated outboard seats back here, as well as USBs, and even these vents are nicely tucked in. Overall, this feels luxury back here with this suede inserts on the seats back, and then also a nice cup holder as well. I don't have sunshades on the back, but I do have large windows. I can open up the sunshade here. Let's go and listen to the door slam. Feels quite good. In the back of the headrests are even a very high quality. The pano sunroof here is quite nice. I have a good amount of headroom back here as well. And a flat floor for your passengers in the back, which is quite nifty. Well, I've been taking my kids around. I took them to the grocery store this morning in the NX, and this sport model has synthetic leather in here. Lexus calls it Nulux with the circuit red. Not as much legroom, I'll go ahead and say that already. The windows are a little bit smaller back here as well. Materials on the door seem to be just about as good, even on the seats. The materials, even though it's a little bit softer here than it was in the Nissan, I'd say it's about on par. We also have vents just like the Nissan. We have USB ports, just 2 USB-Cs instead of a USB-A and a USB-C in the Nissan. And I have this drivetrain hump in here, not quite huge, but it's definitely way bigger than the flat floor that we see in the Nissan. So overall very comparable, but a little bit more spaciousness, I would say, in the Nissan compared to this. And then the sunroof, the panel roof are about identical in size, maybe a slightly bigger on the Nissan. Again, on the front seat of the Ariya, I love the stitching in here. The build quality is absolutely incredible, I'd have to say. Overall, this is built in Japan, where the NX is built no longer in Japan, it's built in Ontario, Canada. The seats are super soft here, nice perforation. This does not have ventilation, however, just heated seats, even at nearly $60,000. And look at this amount of space up here. I love the breathability for your leg and just the airiness. We also have ambient lighting down there, and we also have ambient lighting in the doors with that cute little pattern around it. I like it. I like how open this is as well. I mentioned on the floor, but nothing here. And I have lots of cool features that just wow me with this motorized compartment here, and it's real deep. You can put a lot of stuff in there and probably lose a lot of stuff in there because it goes so far back. And these buttons are touch sensitive, but you have to press them really hard. You can also move this forward and back, which is a cool party trick. Love the accordion materials here, as well as the slidey over the cup holders, wireless charger here, and just a small Easter eggs with the sakura or cherry blossoms with the Ariya logo here. It's an amazing experience in the front seat and the back seat overall with the Ariya. Love the volume knob, the 12-inch screen here, 12-inch screen here, offers Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, of course, and the steering wheel quality is fantastic. I love the gold stitching around. It's amazing quality. Head-up display in here is fantastic, super bright. We also have a digital rear view mirror, which is pretty cool. Sunglasses holder that's cloth lined, and we have these touch capacitive controls here which look absolutely beautiful with this faux wood dash. Like, this feels old school in here as well as like modern at the same time. You could say maybe mid-century modern design. I love being in the Ariya just from an aesthetic and breathability appeal. Now, the materials on this door are probably just as good, if not better, than the Ariya. The design, though, is just not my favorite thing. It is pretty to look at, but this dark aluminum isn't quite as classy looking as it is. Maybe it's sportier, I guess, and that's where this Lexus wants to be, as that is an F-Sport. Steering wheel quality is quite good overall. The stitching is really good. I don't think it's quite as elite quality as we have in the Ariya, though. We have a very small digital MID here that's very reflective. We'll see that when we're driving. It blinds you, and it's just unfortunate because Lexus can do a better job not only offering a bigger digital screen here, but one that's not glossy. I do really like the head-up display, just as good, or just as much as I do in the Ariya. Huge 14-inch screen here. I do have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto wireless. You can plug it in as well. You have this wireless phone charger here that can tuck away. Unfortunately, there's no way to like turn it off that I'm aware of. There's no button, so if you want to use this as a shelf for your phone but charge it wired, it'll still try to charge it wirelessly. It's a bit weird. Anyways, cup holders are in a good spot. Even though the quality of the shifter is better here, I just like the design, the chunkier nature on the Ariya a little bit better. I do like having the drive mode select right here available to me, unlike other Lexus models. And felt lined glove box here, unlike the Ariya, which is just like your wireless charger area right here. I have a little cloth piece in here just like the Ariya. I also have a digital rear mirror, which is a little bit bigger than the Ariya as well. And I mentioned having ventilated seats. That's a huge benefit here. You can get it in the Ariya as an option. We have 360 camera on both of these models. I forgot to mention that. The ride quality in the NX, well, is Lexus quality. Even though it's on the sporty end, and I can make it stiffer with the Sport Plus button here, pretty quiet as well going around here just in the neighborhood. I do have paddle shifters here, unlike the Ariya. Would have been nice that the Ariya had regen braking. Differentiations, there's only really 2 settings on the Ariya. But yeah, paddle shifters here to roll through the 8-speed auto. And I haven't mentioned that the NX can come in a hybrid and plug-in hybrid, but I don't have those models here to compare. So maybe I'd pick those over the Ariya. But the way this is with the turbo 4-cylinder, honestly, I think the Ariya is a better car, especially if you rarely have to take road trips. And I would probably pay equal money, not more money, but equal money for the Ariya as I would for this NX. I feel like the build quality is just as good, if not better. And the reason is, when I got in this car for the first time, it was like the sunroof was rattling and I couldn't stop it from rattling. But today it's not doing it. So I don't know what was going on yesterday, but I've also heard other creaks and rattles in other parts of the car around the seat belt or this B-pillar back here, which is not doing it right now. So it's kind of temperamental on when it wants to make sounds. And while this powertrain is an improvement compared to the last gen, it's just nowhere near as responsive or smooth or as quiet as what we'll experience in the Ariya here. We're gonna get hard under the brakes here. That's one of the things I really like about this NX. Very progressive pedal, very linear. I'm just gonna take it right. Feels really good in the turns. Not too much body roll, but very impressed overall with the handling characteristics of the NX. It's an improvement over the last gen, and I thought the last gen was pretty fun to drive overall. The 4-cylinder in here still is just a little bit grindy, a little bit grainy, and when you're sitting or idling, which is a lot in the summer with the engine on because it can't turn off because it needs to pump the AC. Yeah, it's just there are smoother powertrains in the NX lineup, as well as from competitors compared to this turbocharged force-induced 4-cylinder. And I'm getting in the low 20s in town, and after idling in my driveway for 20 minutes or so, it's now reading 16 miles per gallon. So definitely not its strong suit for efficiency, but in terms of handling and flickability, like the NX is pretty fun to throw around, but here in Florida it's just straightaways anyways. All right, backing out in the Ariya, I really like the 360 camera here and just the effortlessly smooth and quiet propulsion. It's so much better than the NX turbo model that when I've been having both of these vehicles in the driveway this week, every single time if I can, I pick the Ariya. It's more pleasant to drive. It's smoother. It's more responsive. I like the interior way more. The exterior is a coin flip. Like, it just depends almost on my mood, but I almost every single time would just rather be in this smooth experience. Now, the ride quality isn't quite as good in here. And when we come to the stop sign, it does have a bit of pitch and dive and a little teeter-totter effect. No matter how good you are at coming to a stop smoothly, so we come to a stop, smooth, back off the brake, I still have it. Like, it still wants to dive forward. So the NX doesn't have any of those quirks about it in terms of its drivability. It's just inherently not as smooth with that buzzy, rumbly 4-cylinder. And the brake pedal in here as well, there's a big dead spot. Like, the first half of the pedal is pretty much dead. And then you get to feel the brakes halfway through. But yeah, just driving around the block, it's so smooth, so quiet, so pleasant. You feel a little bit more in the road. It's a little bit more bumpy, but I don't hear anything more. Actually, I hear less because I'm not always reminded by the 4-cylinder turbo and its buzzy nature. And I don't want to throw the NX turbo under the bus. It's still a really good car, but the RZ drives better than the NX, and that's the electric the electric vehicle from Lexus. And this is actually better than the RZ overall. I like the interior better here than the RZ. The RZ is a little bit faster, but you can get this in the E-Force and it's faster than the RZ at that point. So it's also costs less than the Lexus RZ as well. Ride quality though is much better on the RZ. So yeah, I think after driving both of these this week, I'm really excited for the future of all electric vehicles, but especially Japanese electric vehicles. The Ariya, in my opinion, is the best electric Japanese vehicle out there. It's better overall than the Lexus RZ. It's better than the BZ4X and the Subaru Solterra. It's far more efficient than those vehicles. 300 miles of range here compared to the 200 or less on the RZ, for example. Like, there's no way I'd ever pick the RZ over this unless there's a screaming deal. But guys, what do you think? Am I crazy for liking the overall nature and just drivability? Oh, I haven't even mentioned the handling. I'm gonna throw this into the turn here. And this weighs a lot, but with the battery pack so low down, it feels really nimble and it hides its weight really, really well. It's eager to turn in and it's fun to drive, even though it just kind of feels like it wants to chauffeur you around by being super smooth and quiet all the time. But when you get on the pedal, which I'm not going to do because there's a guy with a bike, I'm kind of in the neighborhood. When you get on that gas pedal, man, it really shoots you forward quietly, effortlessly, and responsively. So let's just ease into the pedal here. Just great. Not the craziest surge of torque and power compared to other electric vehicles, but man, the Ariya is very smooth, very luxurious for a Nissan, and it costs a lot. That's why I'm comparing it to a Lexus. But dang, Nissan, good job with your first electric vehicle. It only gets better from here. And if you're in the market for an electric vehicle and you're maybe considering the BZ4X or Lexus RZ, don't pass on this Nissan Ariya, built in Japan. Excellent build quality, excellent luxury, excellent from top to bottom. There's nothing about this vehicle that really hurts me down deep inside other than the charging rate. And it's Japanese, a competition is afflicted by low charging rates and as well. So anyways, great city car. If you don't plan on taking long trips, the Nissan Ariya is a wonderful vehicle to recommend. And yeah, I'd pick it over the Lexus NX every single time, over the NX 350. And then I really like the NX hybrid and plug-in hybrid, and those are a coin flip compared to this. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Make sure you subscribe for more industry auto news and reviews. Have a great day and peace.